More than a year ago, I had the idea to set up a YouTube channel. The problem was that at the time I had no skills whatsoever, so I decided to enroll on Ali Abdul's part-time YouTuber Academy to learn the ins and outs of YouTube. And since completing his course, I've gained 3,600 subscribers, I've published 34 videos, and I've been through the YouTube teething process, which led me to put together a roadmap on how to grow a YouTube channel for someone who's in a full-time job and on a budget. So what is this baby YouTuber going to be able to teach you about growing a YouTube channel, right? Let me explain why this video is going to be different than any other video you're going to watch on starting a YouTube channel. First thing to say, I attended Ali Abdul's part-time YouTuber Academy. The course was almost around $2,000. I'm going to be incorporating the lessons of this course into this video, but it's more important than that. This video isn't coming from someone who went viral, which is the minority. This video is coming from someone who falls into the average growth trajectory on YouTube, and I'm going to be able to tell you about the lessons I've encountered, the growth I've encountered on more of an everyday YouTuber's journey to growing a channel. And why that's important is because if you are just following the viral playbook and you don't go viral, you're going to lose motivation, you're going to spend a lot of money in the beginning because you're super hyped, it's something new, and then you're probably just not going to follow through with it. This video is more about the slow growth recipe and what lessons I've taken from the course from the past year, which is going to help you on your journey to growing a YouTube channel. Guys, it's nice to have you back on the channel. I've put the time codes in the description below, so if you're short on time, you can skip to the parts that are relevant to you, or you can even watch the video in 2x speed to save you even more time. If you take any value from this video, I would really appreciate you liking and subscribing, because that basically tells the YouTube algorithm that I'm actually producing decent videos worth a watch, and ultimately that helps me to continue growing the channel. Finally, if you want to connect with me or get involved with anything that I'm involved with, visit my website at tazaldeek.com. My socials are in the description below, or you can pause the video right now and just scan this QR code, and hopefully that should be a lot easier. Part 1 is going to look at the skills, equipment and softwares you're going to need to go from zero to a YouTuber, from someone who has no skills whatsoever to actually someone who's producing decent content and is growing at a nice pace. Now, part 2, we're going to look at Ali Abdul's course, the key takeaways, what I thought were actually really useful for someone just starting out on YouTube. Finally, we're going to look at my analytics, how my growth's been over the past 12 plus months, the mistakes that I've made, the key lessons that I've learned along the way, and things that I'm thinking moving forward into the next stage of my YouTube journey. Let's start off looking at the skills, equipment, and softwares that you're going to need. And to help you, what I'm going to do, because everyone's coming to YouTube from a different place, different financial background, I'm going to give you the budget option, and then I'm going to give you the pricier option if you've got a bit of cash to spare. And by pricier option, I don't mean the most expensive option. What I mean is the best value for money option, because we're not in the game of just wasting money. So you're a virgin content creator with no skills. So naturally what you need are the skills. And the way you can go about getting the skills is one of two ways. You can use a platform like YouTube to watch free videos, really good. There's even a channel called the YouTube Creator Academy, has lots of great free content on growing a YouTube channel. The only problem with that method is that it can be inefficient. You can just end up going down rabbit holes of watching random videos. So if you want a more efficient, streamlined, structured way to learn the skills you need, I'd highly recommend using a platform like Skillshare, which essentially deliver courses on any skill that you can imagine. The beauty of Skillshare is that they offer 1 free month. So the way I would play it is I'd line up all the courses and skills that I want to learn, and I'd just use that 1 month to smash through all of them. If that 1 free month isn't available, you can use the code TAZFREE to get your free first month on Skillshare. Or if you're loving the platform and you want to continue your learning journey, you can use the code TAZ30 to get 30% off an annual subscription. Okay, we know how we're going to learn the skills, but what are the skills? There are 4 skills you need to know. Number 1 is the YouTube fundamentals. Number 2 is filming. 3 is editing, and finally, you are going to need some level of graphic design ability to actually make things presentable. In terms of getting the YouTube fundamentals, don't do what I did, which is buy Ali Abdul's course. Silly move to do as someone on a budget wanting to start a YouTube channel. The ROI, in my view, wasn't there. Ali is a great teacher, great course. If you've got money to spend, go knock yourself out. I'd rather, in retrospect, have watched Ali Abdul's free YouTube course, which is YouTube for for beginners, which is on Skillshare. When it comes to filming, all you need is a camera that shoots 4K. So you can go for the super cheap option, which is like this phone here, which is an iPhone 8. It shoots in 4K. You've got the mid-tier option, which is getting an iPhone mini, an iPhone 13 mini. It will also shoot 4K. Or you can go for the more expensive option, which I do not recommend in the beginning, which is getting a DSLR camera. If you're new to YouTube and you've never shot any film before, that option is so unnecessary and it's not value for money in the beginning. Once you're getting good and you know you're sticking with YouTube long term, then by all means. I'm still not even filming with a DSLR. If you've got money to burn and you're not arsed, then what I would recommend, and look, when I say recommend, I don't just throw things out there. As a barrister, I have a duty to research things properly. I would never even recommend anything I wouldn't consider buying myself. So from my research, the best DSLR value for money wise is the Sony ZV-E10. I think you can even get it with a nice lens. Now, in terms of the course that I'd watch to learn how to film, by the way, all these courses are going to be on Skillshare. All these links are going to be in the description below. But the course I would watch is Jevin Dovey's How to Make YouTube Videos at Home. Okay, for a tripod, which you're going to need to put your phone on to actually do the filming, you can get a pretty basic one for 15 quid or a more premium one for like 15, 20 quid. But do listen to this lesson. They say you buy cheap, you buy twice. And I can't tell you how many things I've bought twice for buying cheap. Next, I'd recommend get the Rode Vlogger kit. I think it's the Tripod 2 version. It's like 150 quid, but the value for money is great. You get a little microphone, which is better than using the onboard iPhone microphone, which is whack. You get the phone clip, the desk tripod, and a light. And really, all those things are going to be useful in the beginning. Next is lights. Okay, this is what I started off with, the classic ring light. Absolute waste of money, piece of garbage, not worth a penny. Then I moved on to getting these, I think they're Releno lights or some similar product. They're like 50, 60 quid. Again, I bought cheap, I got stung. They are trash and I wish I would have just spent a bit more money in the beginning. I would recommend getting the newer bicolor lights. They're like 180 quid, really good value for money. For the skill of actually learning to light your studio, I'd watch Ovin Sofa's lighting course on Skillshare. Okay, audio. So like I said, if you get the Rode Vlogger kit, that comes with a nice little mic that you can just plug into your phone. This was the mic that I bought to begin with. This was a mistake because this is actually a podcast mic. It's the Blue Yeti, it's like 100 quid. What I should have bought from the very beginning is the mic that I'm using now, which is the Rode Video Mic NTG. Why it's a great mic to use, it's a shotgun mic, which means it can take the audio from a distance, but essentially it's because shotgun mics tend to need another device which actually powers the shotgun mic, and normally that can't be your iPhone. So if you're starting on a budget, you want to use your phone as a good mic, but you want really nice audio, the Rode Video Mic NTG lets the iPhone actually power the mic itself, and it's compatible with an iPhone. And that's why, in my view, it's the best mic to start with. To get the basic level of audio understanding you're going to need, I'd recommend watching Scott Liu's audio course on Skillshare. Let's move on to editing. Okay. Clearly, this is the cheaper option of the two. To be fair, I was using this for like a year. It served its purpose. It was an absolute nightmare along the way. However, on the Mac now, clearly I'd recommend this of the two if you can. But obviously, Macs aren't cheap. What I found out along the way is that John Lewis offer an interest-free loan if it's something you're considering. It's what I've done with this. I pay like 80 quid a month for this, and honestly, it has revolutionized my ability to edit videos. Next, you're going to need video editing software. If you're on Windows, there is the Adobe Premiere Pro. It's a £17 a month subscription. Alternatively, if you're on the Mac, you can get Final Cut Pro, the beauty of which is essentially just a one-off payment of £300 and then you're done with it. For learning the skill of video editing, if you're using Final Cut Pro, I'd recommend watching Ali Abdul's video editing with Final Cut from beginner to YouTuber. If you're learning Adobe Premiere Pro, then check out Jordy Vanderput's video editing with Adobe Premiere Pro for beginners. When you create content, you've got the footage that you filmed of yourself, but normally people add on top of that footage other footage, which is called B-roll, to make it a bit more interesting. So the way about going to get that B-roll is a cheaper option, which is iStock or Evanto Elements, which you can pay a £15 a month subscription for, or there's the pricier option, which is 450 quid a year for story blocks. Finally, you want to put some background music on your content. You've got to be careful not to get a copyright strike. So you either want to use, if you want the cheaper option, YouTube's free audio library, or for more options, you can use Epidemic Sound for £10 a month. And for the final skill, which is graphic design, I'd recommend just using Canva. They've got a free or premium membership. The beauty of the premium membership is that you can remove background from an image, which is really helpful when you come to shoot thumbnails for the videos that you're going to put up. Let's break down Ali Abdul's part-time YouTuber Academy. The first thing I'm going to say is, like I've said previously, great course. Ali's a great teacher. I learned a lot about YouTube. But as someone who coming into YouTube who's on a budget, I would not spend $2,000 on a course about YouTube. I would rather spend that money on the skills, equipment, and softwares that you're going to get a much higher return on investment for in the beginning when you're starting out growing your channel. I fully understand the sentiment of wanting to learn from the best, with the idea being that learning from the best is going to give you the best chance of growing on YouTube. But it doesn't translate to that, honestly, because I took like 180 pages worth of notes, so much theory, but when it comes to doing the damn thing, the theory, yes, it's helpful, but I'd say it's like 10%. 80-90% of your growth is going to be in creating the content. Doesn't matter how much theory you learn, you're going to learn yourself by getting involved and getting stuck in. A great piece of wisdom I took from Ali's course is that success boils down to 3 things: hard work, luck, and leveraging your unfair advantages. And becoming successful is about recognizing what are your unfair advantages and double downing on them. If money isn't one of them, spending $2,000 on a course might not be the right move. I'm going to talk about what the main really helpful things were that I took away from Ali's course as a new YouTuber. The first was getting past this worry or fear of what my friends or family going to think about me putting videos out and going on YouTube. And the reality is, they may think of something about it, they may have an opinion about it, but it will be no longer than a 2-3 second thought, and then they'll just get absorbed into their own life. So don't let that stop you from trying and going out there and creating content, because the reality is everyone's too focused about themselves to worry about you. I really liked that he highlighted the importance of the compounding effect, and that is that in the beginning with anything you start, you're not going to see the results, and people tend to quit at the point a year and a half in, 2 years in, they've not seen any value. But really, if they just stick with it and keep on adapting and chasing it, then you're going to reach a point where all of a sudden the growth is going to be exponential. I found it very useful hearing him talk about the importance of the thumbnail, which is the picture you put on a video, and the title. The title is there to create a promise to the person considering watching the video, which you're going to deliver in the video, whereas the thumbnail is there to create a sense of intrigue, to incentivize someone to watch the video. And the thumbnail should not be a repeat what the title says, otherwise you're wasting real estate. Next was a discussion about a niche strategy, and just this idea that when you're picking a niche, you're trying to answer the question, why should someone give their time to listen to me? And you need to think about, well, what can I offer that other people can't, right? So what's special about you? What's unique about you? What are, going back to what he said previously, your unfair advantages? And I think looking at this graphic is a really good way when you're thinking about picking your niche. So ideally, you want something that you're passionate about, but that also has demand. If you pick something that you're not passionate about and has no demand, it's effectively a wasteful niche to pick. And I think this graphic goes a long way in helping you decide. The final pearl of wisdom was the need to actually script videos. And that doesn't mean saying things word for word, but what it does mean is that you need to deliver value, and you can't just come on camera and start talking nonsense. Like, everything that comes out of your mouth, you're aiming to fulfill that value proposition. So the way I go about structuring my videos is I'll have a hook, which is the first 30 seconds to try and keep the viewer watching the rest of the video, then an intro explaining what's coming up. The next section is breaking down the value proposition into a start, middle, and end, and then ending with a end screen sales pitch or a call to action for the viewer. Let's end on looking at my channel's analytics. So for context, I started in October 2021. I didn't really get going till May 2022 because I was applying for pupillage, which took 5 months. And then ever since then, I've been experimenting with different styles of content, but I've actually spent a lot of time learning the digital skills that I need to grow the channel. Before we look at my analytics, a good piece of advice I was given was you're not really going to use the analytics until you've actually produced 50 videos, and before you even come to think about what niche you want to do, unless you know from the outset. If you don't know, again, don't put too much pressure on your niche until you've hit that 50 video mark and you see what's working for you and what isn't. So as you can see, if we look at my analytics, in total I've had around 330,000 views. My watch time is around 21,000 hours. Subs so far, 3,600. Thank you to every single one of you who's supporting the channel. Honestly, means the world. Total revenue so far is £608, which is a fraction of what I've spent on the channel so far. Finally, my impressions are 2,600,000 and my click-through rate is 8.4, which isn't great, but which isn't too bad either. Let's end on my key takeaways. The first most important thing, and I did take this from the course, is keep it simple. Just make valuable videos and you will grow. Number 2 is improve by 1% on every video. So you're looking to add something new to the video. You're effectively trying to improve your skill set by 1%, and honestly that will really compound over time. We've touched on number 3, which is in the beginning, for the first 50 videos, experiment with different styles of content until you find your secret sauce, and I'm still looking for it. Finally, leverage your unfair advantages. What makes you special? Why should someone listen to you? What can you tell your younger self that can help someone who's watching your videos? And other than that, guys, you know what it is. I'll see you at the next one.